Hi, I'm Betsy Day, President and CEO of the Community Foundation of Frederick County, and I want to welcome you to this 34th annual report to the community. We can't be with you in person this year, but we're pleased to present this annual report to you via video. We're in the midst of a global pandemic called COVID-19, and that's upended our lives. But in the year 2020, the Community Foundation has proven that nothing stops philanthropy. The pandemic began in March, but we were busy all year, not missing a beat, and COVID-19 did not slow us down. In fiscal year 20, which began on July 1st, 2019, and ended June 30th of 2020, we raised money for our Forever Frederick County campaign. That campaign distributed its first grants this past year to address our new strategic initiatives. We helped area nonprofits by providing COVID-19 emergency funding, and our strategic and impact grant making and scholarship programs continue to make broad impact in our community. In fiscal year 20, we began to lay the groundwork and are now busy paying attention to how nothing stops philanthropy and how it's reflected in our effort to be diverse, equitable, and inclusive of all peoples, of all ages, races, and genders. And now we would like to look at the year in review. Nancy Thrasher was our chairman during that year, and she regrets that she's not able to join us this evening. The Community Foundation in fiscal year 2020 embraced Nothing Stops Philanthropy by providing $5.4 million in grants to more than 280 nonprofits in the Frederick County community area. Grants impacted health and human services, educational institutions, the arts, historic preservation, animal well-being, faith-based organizations, and so much more. And the Community Foundation was a leader in responding to the COVID-19 crisis. When the pandemic began in March, I reached out to local funders and said, let's work together, let's collaborate. And the COVID-19 Philanthropic Funders Collaborative was then formed. We responded together with funding and advocacy to provide much needed services in our community. And given the unprecedented situation the pandemic caused, the Community Foundation had to prioritize its grant making at that time. Immediately, we focused on emergency funding and helping households who needed support, especially in the areas of food insecurity, housing, mental health, behavioral health, healthcare, and much more. Subsequent funding broadened to include more human services, as well as nonprofit sustainability and enhancing our community during this crisis. In fiscal year 20, there were 430 scholarships awarded to 314 students, totaling more than $1.2 million in post-secondary educational financial aid. Nothing Stops Philanthropy was proven by 1,850 donors who contributed more than $8 million to the Community Foundation or one of its component funds. In fiscal year 20, 31 new funds were created for a total of 742 component funds within the Community Foundation. And since 1986, this is the absolute best part of the Community Foundation. Since our inception in 1986, the Community Foundation has dispersed more than $71 million in grants and scholarships to benefit Frederick County. And now, we would like to talk a little bit about our Forever Frederick County campaign, and I'd like to introduce Gordon Cooley, chairman of our campaign.
Thank you, Betsy. The $20 million Forever Frederick County campaign launched last year to support the community's greatest needs currently and as they will likely change in the future. We are now funding 3 strategic areas of focus as identified in the 2018 Human Needs Assessment. They are supporting families with children, preparing for an aging population, and responding to substance use disorder. When the campaign launched, we had no idea that in our first year of fundraising and grants making in these new strategic areas, the world would be upended by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Community Foundation was nimble and responsive to this crisis that impacted every single person in our community. Our generous donors placed their trust in us to react to the COVID-19 crisis in a positive way, creating immediate impact for our community. A fully endowed Forever Frederick County Fund of $20 million will ensure that the Community Foundation can act immediately in situations like COVID-19. We have raised just over $15 million for the campaign to this point. There is much more work to be done to reach our goal, but I am confident that we will be successful.
Gordon, thank you so much for your leadership. And thank you so much for your can-do attitude. Raising money in this environment is not as easy as it sounds, but having achievement of $15 million of the $20 million goal is quite an astounding achievement. Congratulations. Now we'd like to look ahead to the future, and I'd like to introduce Michael DeLauder, the current chairman of the Board of Trustees.
Thank you, Betsy. It's my honor and privilege to serve as the chairman of the Board of Trustees for this current fiscal year. This, of course, has been a year like no other, and no one could have anticipated what our country and our community has had to go through these past several months. But I am proud to say that the Community Foundation and its staff rose to the occasion, rose to the challenge, and was able to continue to provide community support throughout the pandemic without interruption. I think I speak for many of the board members when I say that we were amazed at the staff's responsiveness. Through the flurry of emails, phone calls, and videos between the staff and the board, especially early on in the pandemic, outlining the urgent needs requests that the Community Foundation was receiving and its response to those needs. Now, as Frederick County takes the next cautious steps to gradually reopen and revitalize, the Community Foundation remains focused on both continuing support for COVID-related needs and also for addressing the possible longer-term impacts of the pandemic. In keeping with our mantra of nothing stops philanthropy, we are gradually expanding our focus to address the needs of our three strategic areas, which are supporting families with children, preparing for an aging population, and responding to substance use disorder. Given what we've been through, we recognize that these strategic areas are more important than ever. We're very thankful to our generous donors who have supported our initiatives, such as Forever Frederick campaign, which have enabled the Community Foundation to continue serving throughout the community. As we move forward, I'm confident that we will continue to be responsive to the emerging needs in every way possible.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for your leadership and your commitment to the Community Foundation of Frederick County. While 2020 has been a year like no other for our community, as well as the Community Foundation, we were pleased to have established a new giving society to recognize our donors who have long histories of giving to the Community Foundation. Called the Diamond Society, it recognizes our donors for consecutive years of giving. And we've been recognizing donors for 5 years on through 25 plus years of consecutive giving. Quite an accomplishment. And to all of those donors, we extend our appreciation. Don Linton, one of the founding fathers of the Community Foundation and trustee emeritus, is publishing a history of the Community Foundation that will be available on our website at frederickcountygives.org and also through hard copy. Call our office for more information. In 2020, we prioritized conversations on diversity, equity, and inclusion to ensure that we were using best practices in all of our decisions in supporting our community. And we must do our part at the Community Foundation to ensure that Frederick County is an inclusive community where every person is treated with respect, humanity, and dignity. And while the Community Foundation has a strong foundation in this area, we can always do more. And we will continue to work with our partners to make systemic change, service delivery change, and support the economic security, health, and well-being of all of Frederick County citizens today and well into the future. Now it's time to celebrate our volunteers, ensuring Frederick County is indeed forever. Janice Miller Wertheimer included the Community Foundation in her estate provisions, creating the Janice Miller Wertheimer Endowment Fund. Her instructions to our Board of Trustees was to support community service organizations doing a job of creating betterment in our community. Our Board of Trustees then decided to create the Wertheimer Fellows and the Wertheimer Fellows for Excellence in Volunteerism, using her legacy of volunteering in the community as the model for what they wanted to recognize. Now, the Wertheimer Fellows for Excellence in Volunteerism recognizes that citizen volunteer, oftentimes the person who volunteers in many different places, in many different causes, and helps kind of under the radar, doesn't get a lot of recognition, but really makes our community a better place. A number of years later, they created the Wertheimer Youth in Action Award to celebrate youth in the community, showing excellent volunteerism and community spirit. The Wertheimer Fellows for Excellence in Volunteerism Award includes $25,000 to add to an existing community foundation fund or to create a new one. The Wertheimer Youth in Action awardee receives $2,000 to re-grant at their recommendation to a Frederick County nonprofit. Our first 2020 Wertheimer Fellow for Excellence in Volunteerism is Sally Arnold. Sally, thank you for your selfless volunteerism on behalf of organizations such as Calico Clovers, 4-H Club, Frederick County 4-H Camp and Activity Center, and Future Farmers of America. Sally, with your award, a $25,000 gift in your name creates the Richard and Sally Arnold Family Fund with the Community Foundation to provide grants to support programs and activities of Frederick County 4-H Camp and Activity Center. Congratulations on becoming a Wertheimer Fellow for Excellence in Volunteerism, and it is my pleasure to now present you with this award. Thank you for all that you do in our community.
What a surprise and honor for the Community Foundation of Frederick County to award me with the Wertheimer's Fellow Award for Volunteerism. Anyone who knows me knows that I love the 4-H program. The 4-Hers work on projects throughout the year, and then they enter that project at the Great Frederick Fair in September. It takes a lot of volunteers to make the fair what it is. Our local 4-H club, the Calico Clovers, do many community service projects. The kids enjoy picking up trash in the spring. We enjoy serving dinner and to the Jefferson Wertan members. We also collect food for a family in need at Thanksgiving, and the kids love to go shopping for children in need at Christmas. During the virus this year, I knew there would be mothers who would not be able to go out for Mother's Day. I cooked a meal. My 4-Hers supplied cookies, muffins, flowers, cards, and balloons. We assembled 45 dinners in my garage, and my 4-Hers delivered meals to various women in the Jefferson area. My 4-Hers want to do this project again next year. Frederick County is very fortunate to have their own 4-H camp and activity center in Frederick County on Bassford Road. Frederick County 4-H is able to use this facility for free. It is my hope that my award will enable the center to remain free for all 4-Hers. So thank you for giving me this award for what I truly love doing. Thank you very much.
Our next Wertheimer Fellow for Excellence in Volunteerism is Sherry Ostro-Shear. Sherry, thank you for your selfless volunteerism on behalf of Children of Incarcerated Parents Partnership, also known as COIP. Sherry, with your award, a $25,000 gift in your name creates the Shear Family Fund with the Community Foundation to provide grants to support programs and activities of Children of Incarcerated Parents Partnership. Congratulations on becoming a Wertheimer Fellow for Excellence in Volunteerism, and it is my pleasure to now present this to you and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is an incredible award. Thanks so much, Betsy Day. It means so much to me. I've had a long time dream about starting Children of Incarcerated Parents Partnership. And that's because I went through that myself when I was a child. And I knew that this was something that was important to kids in this situation. So through a lot of perseverance, it is amazing to me to see how far we've come. But I know all too well that no one gets anywhere without the support of many people. So first, I have to thank my incredible board and all the volunteers who help COIP be what it is. Especially on our board, everyone chairs a committee, everyone's oars in the water, and everyone is there for the kids because that's what we're all about. I have to especially thank Pat Rosensteel, who nominated me for this award. She's our vice president, and along with Sally Smith and the aforementioned board, we've been able to move mountains. I have to also thank all of my friends. One of them once said to me, "Are we ever going to be invited to your house just to have a meal and not have a fundraiser?" I thought about it a minute and said, probably not. Because my friends know that COIP surrounds my life, and they graciously and kindly put up with this. The most amazing group of people have been my family, my children, my grandchildren, and my totally awesome husband. But I think the biggest thank you is to the caregivers, because the mommies and daddies in jail love their children, even though they made some poor choices. And those grandparents who are the caregivers, and those aunts and uncles and friends of the family who are the caregivers, are truly the people who work every single day. They are the people to be honored. My hat is off to them, and I feel so lucky to have those folks in my life. I am so honored. I can't thank the Community Foundation enough. Thank you.
Thank you. That's great. Our 2020 Wertheimer Fellow Youth in Action Award is presented to Darianne Elizabeth Dorsey. Darianne, thank you for your selfless volunteerism on behalf of Frederick County Volunteer Fire and Rescue Association and United Steam Fire Engine Company No. 3. Darianne, with your award, a $2,000 grant in your name has been presented to United Steam Fire Engine Company No. 3 in support of its mission. Congratulations on becoming a Wertheimer Fellow Youth in Action awardee. And it is now my pleasure to present this award to you and to thank you for your volunteer service.
Congratulations, Dee.
First, I would like to thank the Community Foundation of Frederick County for the 2020 Youth in Action Wertheimer Award. And I would like to thank my family, friends, and nominator. And I would also like to state that I've decided to give the $2,000 grant to the firehouse to support its mission.
To learn more about our Wertheimer Fellows and our Wertheimer Youth in Action awardee, please go to our website at frederickcountygives.org/nothingstopsphilanthropy. Finally, I'd like to thank our fiscal year 20 Partners in Philanthropy and annual report sponsors. Thanks to their generosity and their support, we were able to present this 34th annual report to the community via video to share how nothing stops philanthropy in 2020 and beyond. While 2020 was a year unlike any other, we will continue our work to ensure that Frederick County is forever, because we know through your support and all of our collaboration that
Nothing stops philanthropy.